Please be seated, gentlemen. The hour is late, so I'll only share perhaps one or two of the anecdotes. I spent some time just gathering my thoughts about experiences worthwhile sharing. This was the last time that I saw Rabbi Lichtenstein, Zichrono Livracha. It was sometime last year, in the middle of the recent conflict in Gaza. I went into the Beit Midrash, and for me this photograph typified who Rabbi Lichtenstein was in general, and my relationship with him in particular. At this stage already, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's had already taken its tragic toll on this great individual. But I'll return to the photograph in a moment, and probably somewhere in the front was where Rav Kaplan and Rav Bernstein used to sit. I'd like to share with you my experience going into Rav Bernstein's shiur. You can imagine an auditorium packed. Every single chair is packed with students. Most students have spent at least 4 years studying in the yeshiva. And Rav Lichtenstein, who's an old man, his hair is grey, he's clean shaven, and Rav Kaplan described how he would enter the shiur room carrying 2 massive piles of svarim. To meet somebody who knew the contents of the most outlandish Rishonim, the Shibulei Haleket, the Rabbiyot, the Or Zarua, the Baal Hamor, just to mention Sefer Yashar Rabbeinu Tam, all the Svarim of the Beit Midrash of Rashi, Sefer HaPardes, and to bring those up in Shurim, and to carry those Svarim, to share those Svarim with his Talmudim was something incredible. And as soon as he would enter the room, and Rav Kaplan made reference to it, he wouldn't just enter the room, he would rush into the room, because everything he did with pace. He rushed around. There was this total silence. And one could feel a palpable trembling amongst every student in the auditorium where he would give the shiur. And everybody would be waiting for those words. Tov, Loni Tomar. Good. So and so, to refer to you by name, read the Gemara. Gemara that tells us about Rabbi Shimon HaAmsuni, who darshan every single time the word et is written in the Torah. Rabbi Shimon HaAmsuni said it always comes to include someone else. Honoring your parents would include your elder siblings. Rabbi Shimon HaAmsuni darshan out every single et until he came to one pasuk, et Hashem Elokecha tira. You should fear Hashem your God. He got the shock of his life. He thought, how is it possible for this et to include somebody else? To fear somebody just like we fear Hashem? If Hashem was going to reward me for every single et that I expounded, I'm going to retract my theory, my years of hard work, because I dare not suggest et includes someone else in this sphere. Ad Bar Rabbi Akiva, the heroic Rabbi Akiva, the Darasha, he expounded et l'rabot Talmidei Chachamim. Yes, there is someone else we must fear, not on the same level as Hashem l'havdil, but et includes Talmidei Chachamim. We are instructed to fear Talmidei Chachamim. And it was only until I entered Rav Lichtenstein's shiur that I really truly appreciated what that meant. It wasn't the fear of danger, but it was this fear, this awe of greatness. And Rav Bernstein mentioned the odd occasions that he would pluck up the courage to go and speak to Rav Lichtenstein, and it indeed took incredible courage to go and speak to Rav Lichtenstein. I wasn't one to go and speak to him on regular occasions, and whenever I did, I would, the palms of my hands would become clammy, and my heart rate would increase. It was this tremendous experience of Etla Rabot Talmidei Chachamim, that Hashem Elokecha Tira, to be in awe of almost the divine beings of such greatness. And that greatness didn't just come from Torah learning. The fact that he mastered all of Shas when he was a teenager, I suppose the equivalent of when he was in grade 10, grade 11, perhaps the beginning of matric, in 2 years, learning at Yeshivat Chaim Berlin. He finished school early. He mastered Shas from beginning to end, and apparently Rav Rakefet was very close. Rav Lichtenstein, Rav Rakefet told me when he visited South Africa a number of years ago, he told me that was the only time Rav Lichtenstein would learn through Shas from beginning to end. I mean, never stopped learning. Rav Kaplan mentioned the humility of when he would stand in a queue when he was inside the Chadar Ochel. But before he got into the Chadar Ochel, if he saw there were people queuing up outside the Chadar Ochel, without even stopping, he would turn around and duck into the auditorium and carry on learning there. I mean, people would stand aside, would make way for him, but he didn't want that. His incredible humility. Every single second of the day that he was awake, and that was probably for 22 out of 24 hours, he would devote the vast majority to learning Torah, to teaching Torah. He would come from long journeys from the United States, straight to yeshiva, straight to the shiurim and give shiur. And the only time apparently that he never gave a shiur, the Rosh Yeshiva referred to how he incredibly looked after his father, was when his father was dying, and he started giving shiur, and he just said, "I'm sorry, I cannot continue. My father is very, very ill," and he stopped. His devotion towards his Talmudim, towards Talmud Torah, and for 10 years, as the Rosh Yeshiva referred to, he was the heir apparent to Rav Soloveitchik at Yeshiva University. He was a shamash, the personal assistant. Nowadays we have computer programs, but back then Rav Lichtenstein was the computer program for Rav Soloveitchik. Whenever Rav Soloveitchik was giving a shiur and he needed to tell his Talmudim whereabouts in the Gemara, whereabouts the Midrash, whereabouts in Kol Torah Kula they could find that particular Chazal, he would turn to Rav Lichtenstein, and Rav Lichtenstein would say Masechet Daf Amud. He just seemed to have known it all. In fact, on a rabbinic tour to Israel, Rav Lichtenstein, in his humility, would never ever show off his greatness to people there, but Rabbi Rosenblum, who's a wonderful rabbi in Emrentia, has a very, very interesting personality. And when Rav Lichtenstein came and spoke to all the rabbis who were on this rabbinic conference, he didn't want Rav Lichtenstein to be subjected to his anonymity. He wanted everybody to know Rav Lichtenstein's true greatness. And on the spot, in front of the rabbis, he said, he asked the following question. He said, Rav Lichtenstein doesn't mention anywhere in Kol Torah Kula, doesn't mention anywhere in the entire Torah the following concept. And Rav Lichtenstein was put on the spot. He had to answer, and he humbly answered to the best of my knowledge, and he gave his answer, but he put it out there. This was the gigantic knowledge of this Talmud Chacham. But an individual had these beautiful, kind, piercing eyes, an aura of greatness. On Yom Kippur, after the longest Amidah that we would daven, Musaf Amidah, I don't think Rabbi Lichtenstein would ever make it to Kedusha as long as we would wait, because he was so focused on davening his silent Shmona Esrei. And by the time we'd reached the end of Chazarat Hashatz, many hours later, Rabbi Lichtenstein would turn around during Kaddish, when everybody would start singing, because for that part of Chazarat Hashatz, the repetition of the Amidah, he still was standing up with his feet together, facing the direction of Yerushalayim, listening intently to every single word of Rav Amital Zichrono Livracha, the Shaliach Tzibur. He'd turn around and face everybody, and the words of the song Mareh Kohen, the face of the Kohen, after he left the Holy of Holies, would just come to life. We would see the radiance, the holiness, the sacredness beaming, the joy beaming from Rav Lichtenstein's face. an angelic being, somebody so kind, somebody so humble, somebody so gentle, somebody so sensitive, but yet somebody who was truly so great, somebody who commanded all that is worthy of this concept of et Hashem Elokecha tira et l'rabot talmidei chachamim. So valuing the precious time of Rav Lichtenstein, valuing the frailness of Rav Lichtenstein, not wanting to disturb the Rav. I mean, when you get to that stage and your days are numbered, time becomes even more important. And from a respectful distance, I took this last photograph of Rabbi Lichtenstein. There still is so many ideas, so many thoughts, so many anecdotes to share with you. But please God, some other time. The hour is late, and I'd like to just join with the Rosh Hashiva, Rav Bernstein, Rav Kaplan, that please God, we should be inspired. We should inspire to learn from this great personality and his memory. His memory should inspire us and push us to our own form of greatness. Yehi Zichro Baruch. Gentlemen, please all stand as Rosh Hashiva leaders.